Hey, I'm Kevin.
EC here.
Welcome back to another episode of Hands on Diecast. And today we're reviewing.
Today we are reviewing two brand new models from Autoart. The Subaru Impreza WRC car from 1997.
Cool.
And I am super duper excited because this is what I like to think of as a Colin McRae special. Both of these models, first off, I'm a huge WRC fan. Right, and Kevin, you're not really...
I'm not going to do much talking right now because I'm just going to let EC overflow with his enthusiasm. I'm not really into rally cars, but he's a huge fan, so he's going to do all the talking.
Yes, huge fan of rally, huge fan of Colin McRae. If you don't know who McRae was, 1995 World Rally Champion. Was really famous during his time with Subaru, subsequently Ford and Citroen, but tragically passed away in a helicopter accident in 2007, which I'm still very sad about.
Yeah. And I don't even know much about rally, but I still know McRae because he's a legend.
Yep, exactly. Famous for his computer games as such. So when Autoart announced these two models, I was super excited. Both of these models are from the 97 season, the Monte Carlo Rally Edition and the Safari Rally Edition, which is super cool.
Cool.
So let's jump into the details.
All right, let's get to it.
Right, so as you can tell, I'm super duper excited about this particular review.
Yeah, we can tell.
Okay, so how we'll do it, we'll just go through the general features across both models and then we'll touch on the differences on the Safari Edition.
Sounds good.
Alright, so I think first off, execution around the front of the model, there's a lot to go through, but from my perspective, I'm liking what I see. I love the headlight design. I can see the depth through the decal application, as well as all of these fantastic meshing, the details around the tiny little Subaru emblem. What do you think so far?
I mean, I think this car has lots of decals on it. All the livery I think is well done, and I'm quite a stickler for having them placed well, and the positions are all good. And all the little details, like even the clips to secure the hood, the air ducts, and especially the snorkel.
Yep.
I mean, I think the detail is really good. And beyond the mesh, you can actually see the intercoolers radiators behind it, which is nice.
Yep, I guess that's where the Safari Edition really comes into its own. You can see the details around the the additional front protection, the boo bar which they had to use in the Safari Rally, and like you said, the snorkel right at the top as well as the air intakes for the driver and the co-driver, and don't forget the tiny little headlamps.
Yeah.
Right at the side where the wing mirrors are.
Yeah, these are really cool. I mean, they bothered to make the differences between the two. They could have just gone cheap and then just used the same part, but yeah.
Yep, so we'll pop in some close-ups of the additional features on the Safari Rally Edition, and not to mention the increased ride height as well.
Yeah, I think when EC opened the hood, I also noticed that the rubber piping here, when you open, actually bends. I think that's really cool. It's not easy to execute.
Yep, speaking of which, let's jump to the engine.
Yep. Okay, moving on to the engine bay. This is like a game of spot the difference because they look pretty similar. But if you look really carefully, you'll notice that for the Safari Edition, there's a snorkel, so there's actually a difference between this part and this part, and there's a hole here, and they actually bothered to make on the top part of the hood the hole with a silver ring for the air to go in. So that's really nice detail. Other than that, do you see anything else that's different that I'm not seeing?
No, I think like you said, I think the only difference is just that additional air intake, right? Which is, like you said, it's supposed to take air through the snorkel at the top. Right. In the Safari version, it goes through water crossings in the desert. Yeah.
Okay, now on the water
crossings in the desert.
As for the detail though, I gotta say I'm disappointed, dude, because this is an Autoart and that looks plasticky. And I think usually there's more depth when you look down into the engine bay, but I don't see much there.
Yeah, I agree. This is not a fantastic engine effort by Autoart. It looks very plasticky, in fact. It's saved a little bit by the carbon fiber intakes and the top of the radiator. Nice little details on you can see the reinforced tops. What do you call it? Top mounts for the dampers.
Right.
But besides that, it's pretty.
Oh yeah, and then let's not forget the quality hinges by Autoart, and also the hood stand.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice. Yeah.
The hood stand and the the tiny dot legs. That's good.
But this is really, it's just like one piece of plastic. Let's insert it in, and then that's it. I just feel like
Correct. So not too impressed.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Right, so onto the side of the model. So I think the first thing that's going to hit you is just like what Kevin said earlier, the amount of decals across this entire model.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yep, Colin McRae's trademark number 3 for the 97 season, the so-called 555 logos on the side, which
Yeah.
actually, interestingly, on both of the real cars that participated in the rallies, the logo wasn't this stylized 555 thing. It was an actual 555 logo, but whatever reason, Autoart didn't manage to get that sticker on.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad.
Licensing is probably. If I may, I think I'm just going to jump straight into the wheels. Now, I'm not particularly impressed with how the rims look. It looks plasticky.
Oh my god, that was the comment that I was planning to make. But you took it away. They look really plasticky.
Yeah.
It's like those Tamiya model kits, the assembly kits, it looks like that.
Yeah, so much so to the point that I actually went to Google real photos of the actual car. But the actual car did have very matte rims.
Okay.
But somehow it looks a bit too plasticky.
Yeah.
It does get credit though for the brake disc and the brake calipers, right? Like
Right.
what we noticed earlier, the calipers it said AP Racing.
Yep.
Which was really, really, really cool, which I do like. What do you think?
I think also the branding on the tires, the Pirelli branding, I think that's really nice touch to it. Everything else, like stance-wise, proportions, everything looks good to me, decals and so forth.
Yep,
So
yep.
no complaints, just the wheels are plasticky.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna cut to a little close up for you, just to show you a little quirk on the side indicator lamps. It's interesting because it's different from one side to the other, which I can only assume is an Autoart molding issue.
This is only something that EC sees because I still don't see it.
Oh yeah, it's my eyes, I guess. Oh yes, and of course the spoiler. Let's not forget those all of that branding on the side, which
Yeah,
really
very
looks
cool, very cool.
good. Right, let's move on.
Yep. All right, now onto the back of the Subarus. Another game of spot the difference. So instantly you'll see that the Safari version has a higher ride height, and I really like the mud flaps, the mud guards on these. The details are really nice, and my favorite part I think would be the exhaust tips. I think they really got those bang on. It doesn't look plasticky at all. Thickness is good.
Yep.
And then the other things are just the differences in the decals, as you can see. How about you? What do you think?
There's always been something about the GC series in Impreza. So I just love how the rear looks, and I think Autoart captured the form very well. The tail lights, I love it, and like you said, the exhaust tailpipe is exceptional, right? I'm sure on the actual rally car, it probably wouldn't stay this shiny for long once it gets on the stages. But besides that, there are the details around the antennas, which interestingly, out of the box, the antennas are a little bit bent, because of the way that the models are stored in the Autoart styrofoam box. Other details you can see from the rear as well, the roll cage and how the 3-point harnesses are secured via the roll cage.
Yeah.
So I like it.
I just noticed something right now though. The Pirelli logo on this is better applied than the one here, because you can see there's a bit of, I don't know what that is. But
You're right. And another thing is that the decal, like the Monte Carlo edition, it shows Subaru France as say the Safari was Subaru Kenya. So shall we take a look at the boot?
Yeah, let's do so. Okay, so now the trunks are open. Only difference really is the wheels inside, for obvious reasons, but everything else is the same.
Yeah, correct. Again, we can still see the plasticky rim. I do know that when the photos of these models surfaced on some of the international diecast forums, like Diecast Exchange, there was a lot of flack, given to these the orange straps. Yeah, they look really plasticky as well. Again. But I guess a bit of a saving grace as well, and you can see the rest plate, the steel rest plate right at the back. I think that's a very nice detail to be lodged this deep in the boot.
Right.
But besides that, I guess pretty much not much else to go through.
And there's this rubber.
The rubber hole.
Well.
Bubbles, correct. Yeah. I'm not sure what that is actually.
If you do know what it is, please leave your answer in the comments so we know what that is.
Yes. I guess that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool.
So now we are looking at the interior of this model. So first up, we know that this was a competition car, and you're going to be looking at a pretty basic, hardcore kind of cabin.
Yep.
But honestly, as an Autoart fan and as a massive fan of McRae and this particular Impreza, I think the interior is massively disappointing.
It's very underwhelming, yes.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's start with some of the strong points, right? I think the steering wheel is pretty decent, although the actual shape and size of it isn't exactly the same as the wheel that was used in the actual car.
Right.
They did get some of the colors of the various buttons within the cockpit right, but besides that, from there everything starts to fall apart. The entire front, the instrument cluster on the actual car, that's carbon fiber. the plastics, like the aircon vents, etc. Yes, they didn't work on the real car, but these look really cheap.
Yeah.
And we get a separate close-up shot of the center console as well. Now, the center console on the actual car was a floating display, but it's not that thin.
Yeah, this is like the Volvo waterfall floating display thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is ridiculously thin.
What else do you think about it?
I mean, I think overall it just feels plasticky. The door cards, the inner part of the door, we'll have a shot of that later. You can't really see it here. It's just like one molding. The interior, like all the points you mentioned, because you know this car better than me, but when EC showed me a picture of the real car's interior, I noticed right away out down the passenger side, the dashboard, there's some white buttons and stuff on the dashboard, and they're all missing here. It's just one black molding, which is kind of disappointing. Other than that, yeah, nothing really stands out. Nothing great here.
No. Probably a couple more saving graces would be the seats. I think the seats look decent. Seat belts, not so. Very, very plasticky again. And at least they did include the fire extinguisher as well, and some of the aluminium foot plates that you have on both the drivers and I think the passenger side has it as well. But beyond that, meh. It's very meh.
Now that you mentioned the seat belts, I realized, they could have just used the fabric ones. I mean, they did that on other models, and it's quite disappointing, really.
It's an Autoart trend now. Cutting costs, why?
Oh, no.
So I guess that's pretty much it.
All
Alright, so to sum things up, for me, I really like both models. I think the decals are really cool and all the livery. The way I'd sum it up is that I think it's a really cool model with all the components in the closed position. But the moment you start opening up, the hood, the trunk, the doors, and you have Autoart kind of expectations for it, and then the worst part is you're disappointed because they look plasticky. That to me is kind of a letdown. So for that reason, and for the reasons that it really looks good with all the components closed, I'd give it still a 7 out of 10. How about you?
That is amazing because you echo my thoughts.
Oh my god!
It's an exact.
Oh my god! And we didn't rehearse this, by the way.
No, we did not.
We never.
Absolutely not. We never rehearsed at all. It's straight out the bat. No, but the thing is that for me now, my perspective is going to be even stronger because I'm a huge Colin McRae fan. Huge fan of the Impreza WRC car, especially from the '97 season.
Yeah.
But like you say, right? When Autoart released these two models or announced them, I knew I had to get it.
Yeah.
And like you said, with everything closed, and just putting them on the table into your cabinet is like, oh my god, I feel like
presents.
Yeah, I'm literally wetting myself, right? Just looking
Okay, I wouldn't go that far, but yes, okay.
But you can see, right? Autoart is cutting costs everywhere, right? The engine bay is meh. I think the engine bay on the Autoart 22B is on the road car is way more detailed.
Oh, yes. And you have that too, and that's way more impressive.
Yes, way better. The interior is, oh my god, so many shortcuts everywhere.
Yeah.
The rims, I'm still a little bit, I'm not so sure, right? Because maybe on the actual car, they do look very matte and very basic, right? So, but yeah, I have to echo your thoughts here. And in terms of your score, I'm thinking of the exact same score as well. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
And I was being quite generous, actually, so yeah.
Yeah, this is just me. I'm trying. I mean, of course, right? As a Colin McRae fan, yada yada, I will give this straight up. Oh my god, this is a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
But no, I think purely objectively, right? It's a 7 out of 10.
And the other thing, let's not forget, is did anybody else make this? Like Sunstar did some of these rally cars.
The 96 and 95 cars, yes.
Yeah, but not this one.
Not the 97.
Okay, so you have no choice. If you really want these, then you gotta get AA anyways.
Yes, I think there is another resin manufacturer that made the 97 Impreza, but they look terrible. I can't remember the name of that.
Okay.
But yeah, so I guess that pretty much sums up the review. We hope you guys have enjoyed it. And and of course, shout out, thank you to everybody who has commented so far. We'll definitely try our best to reply to each one of them, and we appreciate everyone. If you subscribed, etc. We appreciate it.
And we definitely, it's really encouragement for us. Whatever you comment and whatnot, it's encouragement. And we'll keep trying to make more videos. Yeah.
Absolutely. So till next time, take care. It's been Hands on Diecast.
All right, bye.